Hello and welcome back to the AOR F1 highlight videos here for Season 13. Today we're here at the Spanish Grand Prix for round number 4 of Season 13. We do apologise for the delay in these videos, guys. We know it's been a few weeks since round number 3 came out of the Chinese Grand Prix. There have been a few delays with the video editing and then also the commentary, but we're finally back for hopefully, here's hoping, fingers crossed, I may have just jinxed it now, for some more consistent weekly videos of this series. I know a lot of you guys have been itching to see the next instalment. So here we are for the Spanish Grand Prix. Season 12 winner last time out was Nervotang, getting the pole and the win. So a perfect weekend for him last season. Let's see if he can match that today, Tom.
Yep, absolutely. And first of all, for me, back after a one race sort of a stoppage after missing the last one, but it's great to be back here and I'm really looking forward to this. Like you mentioned, Nervotang winning last season and also taking a clean sweep this season so far in every single race, and the question is, will he continue that form? Also, along with this, strategy wise today, we'll probably be seeing the soft and hard tyres mainly. The medium won't really feature that much due to what the game by default offers in terms of tyre compounds, but either way, Catalunya track that I really enjoy on the calendar, and hopefully we can have some good racing here today.
Yep, so without further ado, let's get straight into the qualifying report.
So here we are for the qualifying comparison at Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya for the AOR PS4 F1 League, on board with both of the Mercedes drivers, Nervotang and Ali K. Heading down the main straight with DRS open into turn 1, braking quickly down the gears, Ali K actually staying in 4th gear through the first apex, keeping to the left out of turn 2 to open up the entry through the very long turn 3, where you want to be full throttle as early and as long as possible, and after the first sector there is barely anything separating these two drivers. Now heading uphill through the tricky traction zone for turn 4, turning while accelerating, then immediately over to the right hand side of the track for the braking zone for turn 5, slight lock up on the inside for Nervotang, and then back on the throttle immediately once you straighten the car up on the exit. Keeping to the right now to set themselves up for the high-speed chicane, both of them hitting the first apex and the second apex absolutely beautifully there, and at the moment it's actually Nervotang with a very marginal advantage. Heading into turn 9, slight lift and a downshift as you want to carry as much speed as possible through there, controlling a bit of an oversteer on the exit as well. Heading through the second DRS zone down to the hairpin, the heaviest braking zone on the circuit. Again a slight lock up on the inside front for Nervo, and both of them slightly off the apex there, but still carrying a good amount of speed coming into the very technical third sector of the lap. Got to be very patient through turn 12 before you put the throttle back on. And with just a few corners remaining in the lap, there's barely centimeters separating the two teammates as they now have to navigate the very difficult chicane, avoiding the sausage curb on the first spot, and at the moment they are dead equal. So it's all about nailing this traction zone and the run to the line flat out through the final kink. Who's going to take pole position for the Spanish Grand Prix? It is Nervotang with a lap of 119.922, only 14 thousandths of a second ahead of Ali.
Thank you, Vizzy, for that qualifying comparison. Looking at the grid now for the Spanish Grand Prix, once again, it's Nervotang in his home Grand Prix in pole position, closely followed, very closely followed, should I say, by his teammate Ali K in the other Mercedes. 14,000 separating two of them, with Jay Thorne getting a very impressive third place there for the Red Bull team, with Alex in P4 for the first of the Renaults, and then Jim Aresi in the second Red Bull there, rounding out the top 5, with Jamie, a very good qualifying from him, up in P6 in the McLaren Honda, and then Clarkey and Iron Super Scrub making it an all-Sauber fourth row on the grid, with RBOS in P9 in the second Renault, and finally Desimpele rounding out the top 10, which are all covered by 3.5 tenths. And then moving into the second half of the group, we kick things off with Walsh in the first of the Haas cars there, just over half second off the pace, with Shelley just 4 thousandths behind in the Manor car, with H Racing Green in the second McLaren down in P13, with I Am Loki also just 4 thousandths behind. All these guys 4 thousandths of a second apart if you look at it very closely. I Am Loki in the second half just behind those three guys, and then RC Alonso, reserve driver, coming in for this race in P15 in his debut qualifying in the F1 League, with Big Shot Player in the second Ferrari down in P16, with RC Wallen in the first of the Williamses down in P17, with Wooly in the second Manor in P18. Then on the final row of the group, we've got Ferrari Fan in the second Force India and Nardi X Team 1 second off the pace down in P20. And that's going to round up the qualifying report, and we're now going to move into the race.
So here we go, it's race time for the Spanish Grand Prix, round number 4 of Season 13 of AOR F1. This one, it should be a cracker. It's been a stunning first 3 races so far this season. I don't think this is going to be any different, Tom. Last time out, you weren't here, but China was an absolute whirly one. We had so much fighting going on, especially with Ali K and Nardi X team. Speaking of him, the man down in 20th place on this grid, so must have been a very, very odd, confusing qualifying for them, and a little bit of a mix-up there with Nardi X team way down the order. But the usual pairings are there. We've got Jay Thorn up there, Ali K in second place, Nervo Tank first place, obviously in pole position, and Aresi, who had a bit of a poor time in China, not the best of luck, obviously intermediates at the end of the Chinese Grand Prix, kind of threw a lot of spanners in the works for a lot of these drivers, so I think there'll be definitely some people looking to make up what they lost in the last round. It's going to be an interesting one though, because not many people are going to probably use the medium tyres at all. It's probably going to end up being a one-stop with the softs to hards, or a soft, hard, and then soft strategy, Tom. Bit of an odd thing really from the game.
Yeah, well basically when you obviously run these 50% races, the game doesn't actually offer you that many medium tyres basically, so you're almost by default restricted to softs and hards. So it's definitely going to make the strategy, even though it's going to be quite basic, the tyre compound difference between both tyres is quite big, so it's going to be interesting to see how most people utilise them, and you know what sort of tyre life to get out of each compound and how long they're making last. But the hard tyre should be a very good race tyre. You know, that tyre does have a lot of good life to it, so most people should be able to drag that one out into the Grand Prix, but obviously there are those who tend to eat up their tyres a bit more than others, so maybe the soft tyre may come back into effect later on in the race. But just looking at a bit of a track layout here, and a track that you can do a lot of overtaking if you're really good around here. You've got 2 nice, decent DRS zones with some good overtaking points out of, so it should hopefully set us up, like you said, for a decent race.
Yeah, for sure. That last sector we can see on the right-hand side, very crucial, especially on that run off the final corner into that second DRS zone. Most people top out on the top rev range in 8th gear, so it's going to be an interesting one. And as you mentioned, yeah, the difference between the compounds may be interesting. I'm just thinking maybe, I don't know, maybe there'll be a driver who does a bit of a gamble, who does maybe, as you said, eat up their tyres. Maybe they try a gamble and do that 2-stop, and basically bank on the fact they may be a lot faster on that 2 difference of tyre compound towards the end. But I think we're kind of expecting most people to do the 1-stop. I think I saw Nardi X team right at the back there in P20 on hard tyres, so there may be people that are starting on that harder compound outside the top 10, obviously, so that may be a bit of a speed difference, but obviously the top 10 are going to be on the soft tyre, so they're going to be gunning for it absolutely. So we're lining up for the grid now. You can see there you go. RC Wallen, yeah, on the mediums, good catch with 3 people.
Yep, so a few people in the lower half of the grid on the medium tyres, so obviously using their medium nice and early, but here we go.
Yeah, here we go to 5 red lights for the Spanish Grand Prix. Round number 4, we're away, and Nervo Tank looks like he gets an okay start from Ali K as well, and there's a bit of jockeying there with the Red Bull car of Jay Thorn. Jay Thorn made a great start there, he's up into 3rd place. Slipstream, Nervo Tank, he'll go down the inside potentially of the 2 Mercedes. No, Ali K swings around the outside. Nervo Tank's not going to give him too much room, going to try and squeeze him out to the next swooping right hand, and he's going to get back into 1st place comfortably there. Ali K has a rear gunner in 2nd place. Jay Thorn closely behind, and you've got the 2 Saubers going side by side. One of them pushed off a little bit, a lot of jockeying, and Jay Thorn goes round the outside of Ali K. It's a great move there on the right hand to Tom, and it looks like he might just get this in 2nd place. Yes, it is.
Oh, contact.
But then a whole bit of a time bomb. There's a Renault off.
Yep, huge contact. Alex, I think that might have been, and also we've got Alex going for a spin on the grass, so both Renaults having contact into turn 4, I believe. So we had obviously the first one and also the second one, both going for spins respectively at different points in the corner, but now Alex is trying to get himself back on track, getting past Ferrari-Fan there. But looking at the front now, Nervo Tank under attack by Jay Thorn, is on fire so far this race, and look at that switchback. Jay Thorn going for the lead of the race. Nervo Tank all out of shape on the exit of the corner, and Jay Thorn is into the lead of the Spanish Grand Prix. Unbelievable.
What a switchback that was, and that was a switchback and a half from Jay Thorn, and he's made a lightning start. Obviously not had the best start to the season really from round 1 and 2, picked it up in round 3 at the Chinese Grand Prix last time out, and now he's gone one step further, leading this Grand Prix, getting away from Nervo Tank, but Nervo Tank will try and slipstream back. You can see Jay Thorn swerve to the right to try and break that toe, but Nervo Tank equally moves with him, and here he goes.
Oh,
oh my God!
Huge crash.
It's been a huge crash.
Oh my God!
The championship leader. No front wing,
race.
a huge crash there.
His home race is out. I think, or he's severely damaged anyway, but J-Thorn's kept it pointing the right way, which is going to promote Ali K into second place. We had a perfect view of the exit. I'm sure we'll get a replay from Ali K's point of view in a moment, but that's going to basically leave J-Thorn up front, and there is the damage, home favourite, Nervo Tank, front wingless going through turn 3, and that's going to hurt him severely, and it's a long lap around this circuit, and that's also going to compromise his strategy from a 1 to at least a 2-stop strategy, Arav. So the home favourite and the championship leader in big trouble in his home race.
Yeah, for sure, that is going to really hamper him now. He's going to have to then really pick up the pace on the hards and then also on a second set of softs, basically. But now we see on towards the end of lap 2, Ali K now pressurising J-Thorn. So this does open up, basically. Ali's got full reins of the Mercedes team, essentially. You know, as we have a move with RBOS down the inside of I'm Loki. Oh, it's gone wide. He's pushed him wide. Contact there. Big shot comes out of nowhere down the inside. And I'm Loki. Spun round, contact made with, I think it was RC Waller or another Manakar, I think it was. Very, very odd thing. I think RBOS just got it so hot into that corner as they went to sector 3.
I think that's why they went out really well. They locked side pods, or locked like right rear, sorry, left front with right rear, something like that. But that's definitely hampered the sort of lower end of the midfield. But this battle up front still going on. Ali K obviously with his team out of action can see the chance of going into first place. But let's look at a replay of exactly what happened in this first corner. So far it's a pretty clean actually start to the race, out of not any major incidents, and we're on board with Clarkey now in P7. He goes for the outside line to the first corner, and we've got a few lockups up front, but so far pretty clean. Let's go further down the field and see how things pan out down here on board this time with Wooly on the medium tyre. Let's see exactly what happens now going into the first corner. So far pretty clean, a little bit of lag there with that Williams car, I think that's RC Wallen, but still a few more lockups, but still no contact. So a fairly clean start in the grand scheme of things. And here is the crashes. Alex gets all out of shape, and he actually made it work, but just caught the Red Bull's left rear, and that sent him round for a spin. But he actually managed to pull off the move up the inside just about. So very unfortunate for Alex there. And now I think we're going to look at the other incident involving the other Renault of RBOS, who's on the inside of Desimpele here, which will become the outside for the next corner. Now there you go. Oh wow, look at that. Desimpele out of the race. That's very bad luck for him. And I don't know about you, but the races I've commented, Desimpele's had very poor luck. So maybe this guy needs a break. But look at that, there's the contact. RBOS gets away lightly, but Desimpele is the man who draws the short straw in that particular incident.
Yeah, very weird contact. And then here again, RBOS involved in another incident, dives it down the inside of the Haas car, gets it wrong, and then a bit of a sandwich for him. So he got spun around as well at the same time. Well, I guess a little bit of karma. And now we come back to the live race action of Ali K going around the outside of J-Thorn. Amazing. No time for a break. Ali K goes around the outside. He'll have the inside line for the next corner. And so he'll get into the race. Lee will J-Thorn switch back with good traction. We know that traction zone is very crucial to get the run into this next, obviously, big famous chicane here at Spain. And you've got the second Red Bull of Aresi, who so far has been outperforming J-Thorn this season. He's the second gunner this time round in Spain so far. Basically looking back with DRS wide open, so he may fancy overtaking his teammate if he catches his teammate napping it. J-Thorn just right up the gearbox of Ali K, giving him no rest. So those two going hammer and tong so far in this Grand Prix. Then behind we've got Shelley in the Manakar, getting right up to the back of Big Shot. Obviously both those guys really benefits from the contact between RBOS and I Am Loki. That for a second there, just going back to the RBOS crash, it was a very, very odd one. But yeah, I do agree with you, Tom. Very, very unlucky for Desimpele. He's had so much bad luck this season, and what a shame now he's out of this Grand Prix. But now we move on as we go on to lap 5. J-Thorn slipstreams. He'll have DRS wide open. You can see on his rear wing flap, and he's back up into the race lead. So already, as we mentioned, Tom, this second DRS straight is going to be very, very big, very, very good opportunity for drivers. And I suspect at the moment, the way it's looking, I think maybe the top 4 may be in a bit of a situation where they're going to be swapping positions left, right, and centre down that straight the entire race long.
Yep, absolutely. And the overall pace is very fairly matched. Obviously, unlike the last few races, Nervo Tank's not up front running away with it, so we're going to have a pretty tasty scrap here. I think a 4-car scrap for now. Just a shout out to our Super Scrub up in P5. Good job for him in the Sauber there. Pretty good performance so far for him. But focusing still on the action now. Obviously, everyone's filtering through the middle sector, and now obviously it's crucial to prepare yourself and get your car facing the right way for this second DRS zone into the hairpin, which is a crucial braking point around this circuit. And so far, Ali K seems to have had a good run through there. The question is, will he be close enough for a run? We won't see until later on. Right now, H Racing Green behind Clarkey, who was the man in form in the first couple of races of the season, and H Racing Green trying to trump him and get past one of the 2 Saubers. As we've got our Super Scrub just ahead of his teammate there up the road. But look at that, the left front already, 39%. Obviously, the soft tyres around here are going to really struggle for some tyre life because this track does gobble up your tyres, especially if you're ruthless with them. And going now on board with Jamie. Let's see what happens now down this pit straight. Resi seems very close to Ali K, actually, closer than what Ali K is to Jaythorn. By look at that, the Mercedes is pulling away, and Jaythorn's going to be under pressure. But by the end of turn 1, here we go. Ali K is going to go to the inside. Is he going to pull the move off on the brakes? Lock up on the right front. Jaythorn holds it around the outside, swings back into turn 2, and can he go around the outside of turn 3? It's going to be so close. Side by side action, brilliant stuff to see. But look at that, Ali K just forces him out into the green stuff a little bit, and now look at this, side by side still into turn 4. Incredible scenes here. Both of these guys just scrapping it out for the lead of the race here at Spain. Unbelievable stuff. And now Jaythorn's going to try and go up the inside, but Ali K holds it beautifully around the outside and regains the race lead.
Yeah, that is absolutely insane. That is absolutely awesome to see. Two cars right up front, you know, going hammer and tong, so close there, on especially on that long swooping right-hander. We've seen so many famous real-life overtakes there. Fernando Alonso, I'm remembering back in 2013, famously going around the outside of Hamilton and Vettel, and that's a great corner. And Jaythorn here, again with DRS, all of them with DRS obviously closing up and concertining basically into this third sector. As I mentioned, very crucial sector to get a good run. Eventually, what will be that last corner after the chicane. Ice Super Scrubber on board here at the moment, ahead of his teammate, but look at that, those tyres, Tom, 55% on the two left tyres. So as you mentioned, that this soft tyre really just basically crumbles like a piece of old cheese basically around this circuit. So they're not going to go for too much longer. I suspect maybe around lap 8, I would say. Maybe they're going to think about maybe coming in. But now, as they go on to lap 7 down the main straight, Jaythorn with DRS wide open, he's going to get back into the lead of this Grand Prix. Will Ali K have any plan to come back at him through turn 1? He's just going to stick in second place, but will he have anything to maybe go through the next sector? We won't see, because now we're on board with an RDX team who's, remember, qualified in 20th place, so from last place, he's up in 15th, trying to get 14th place. Alex, who obviously you remember span early on the first lap of the Grand Prix. Can the RDX team get the momentum? He's on the hard tyres as well, so that's good to know that he needs to basically get some moves done to potentially just kind of throw a spanner in the works for some of these guys. If he can effectively get ahead of some people, he can basically ruin their race by being on the harder tyre, being a little bit slower potentially, and kind of making their tyres shred a little bit. As we move on now to the middle kind of fight here, you can see Alex in 14th place, just ahead, and then this is the man who crashed out, Nervo Tank, way down in 19th place. Such a lonely place to be there, Tom, and he's going to have a long afternoon ahead of him. But now we cut back onto this fight between Jaythorn and Ali into sector 3. Yep,
absolutely. I think Nervo Tank was actually in the medium tyres. I thought I caught a glimpse of that, which is quite rare. We wasn't expecting to see the medium that much, so meanwhile, now focusing, like you said, on the action up front. Meanwhile, Clark is overtaking our Super Scrub for P5, getting past his teammate. But now we go, you called it, Arif, lap 7 and lap 8 for the first pit stops of the race. And it's Jaythorn, the race leader, coming in. Meanwhile, Ali K and also Arezi start for one more lap. And look at this, because of it, Arezi's going to try and get a sniff on Ali K, even though they both have DRS. Arezi has a straight line speed, and can he pull off the move around the outside of turn 1? They both lock up the tyres. Arezi goes around the outside beautifully. Ali K still holding it in there though into turn 3 as he goes up the inside. Side by side action once again through this corner, and Jamie is going to make it 3 wide. Here we go in the corner down to turn 4. Jamie. Is it going to be 3 wide into the turn 4? Yes, it is. And look at that, Arezi just goes around the outside of both of them. Ali K is still trying to fight it up the inside, but I think Arezi might just have this one in the bag. And there you go, he takes the lead of the race for the first time this Grand Prix, as meanwhile Jaythorn was just finishing up on his pit stop there. But wow, I'm running out of superlatives. This battling is becoming quite tasty. And now Clarky, I was just going to say, is getting in on the action here. So this could get a really tasty end to the lap, especially if all of these guys come into the pit lane now at the end of this lap.
Yeah, so that top 4 fight we were mentioning, now it's kind of turning to a top 5 here, is now in the distance. Oh, Ali K had a little look there down the inside of Resi, who's in first place now, as you mentioned. But this will also play. Oh, lock up from Walsh and the Haas. Will there be a move down the inside there for H Racing Green? His second McLaren car up into 5th place. The two McLarens going pretty damn well here at the Spanish Grand Prix so far. But I was just about to say that this fighting now with Aresi and Ali on that previous lap may just play into Jaythorn's hands, because he's going to get the undercut strategy going. And so now Aresi pulled in. Interestingly enough, Ali and Jamie both carry on, so they're going to try and overcut. Maybe they think they can take the tyres longer and find some good pace, but I don't think this is going to work for Ali, because Jamie now may try a pop. He's got DRS open, just doesn't have the straight line speed like Aresi had. You can see in the top right, thankfully, Aresi making his pit stop. Also Clarky there making I Super Scrub, sorry, making the pit stop. And so now we'll see, hopefully, where Jaythorn filters out. There he is, down the main straight. There's Aresi, and so Jaythorn will be comfortably ahead of his teammate, and Ali K will be, technically, you would think, behind Aresi. So Jaythorn They play that to a T. Undercut strategy has worked out. It's not going to cause any distress for him.
Ooh.
And so now we're on board with Shelley, who's going to see H Racing Green locking up his medium tyre. The front left already going off quite a bit. Now a replay of... I super scrub. That's why maybe he made an early pit stop that he wanted to, potentially. Half the front wing off, and contact between teammates, not what you want to see at all ever. And so now we move on to lap number 9, the end of lap number 9, sector 3. We've got the McLaren car of, I think this is H Racing Green, closing up on Walsh in the Haas. So Walsh looks like he's getting a bit of a train ahead of him. I think is he on the medium tyres? I think he might be. I can't quite tell. Through the final corner now, we wait to see who's going to come through. It's H Racing Green. Is it H Racing Green? Yeah, H Racing Green sliding through the final corner, and then he's got the Manukar, I think that was, trying to slipstream him. A bit of an awkward camera angle, but there you go. The Manukar goes down the inside. He's got him with DRS, but is he going to make a move around the outside? No, he's not. He's going to stick behind him. There is the reserve driver, RC Alonso, in the Toro Rosso also trying to have a sniff. And there is our third place man, Ali K. As I said, Tom, exactly, in third place. Comes out ahead of Jamie, thankfully for him. But now the two Red Bull cars basically just slipstreaming each other and hoping to get away.
Yep, absolutely. And the Sabi shot before was actually Clarky in the pit stop, not our Super Scrub. So our Super Scrub, I don't know what happened. He might have come in even earlier because of the front wing contact, which we didn't see that until the replay. But focusing on the action, RC Alonso making himself known here, making his presence felt. Obviously, he was in GP2 and he has some very good pace, and he's promoted to F1 for this one-off race to see as a bit of a test experiment to see how his pace is, hence why he's in the Toro Rosso. And here he goes, he's going to the outside on H Racing Green. Is he going to go and make the move into the hairpin? Looks like he has, and they're going to the hairpin now. Contact between the pair of them. RC Alonso getting all out of shape on the exit, and he actually loses the back end, and that's going to allow everybody to get past him, and he's going to drop a few positions down the field. And now H Racing Green defending for his life against these guys, and now Big Shot Player is the next guy who's trying to look for a move. Also RC Warren waiting in the wings with his teammate right behind, waiting for a possible move here. But look at this, RC Alonso also losing our position there to the full cinder by the look of it, and now cutting back to the net race leader Jay Thorne in the Red Bull with his teammate right up his chuff there. So could there be some team orders, or could there be a pure Red Bull scrap out on track out of? Maybe these guys could be ready to mix it up a little bit and see an all Red Bull battle here, and hopefully none of that Mercedes 2016 contact that we saw last season in real life.
Yeah, hopefully not, as Alessi has DRS wide open the right hand side. He's going to surely get this. Yes, he will. We'll cut across. So I don't suspect that most of these guys know what team orders really means. I suspect it's going to be a straight fight, but I think you're going to see just some respect and just hopefully no contact, as you mentioned, a la Mercedes 2016 for those guys up front, especially with Ali K in third, just behind, and obviously Novatank completely out of the race. Basically, oh no! Jamie's been made contact with Clarky. Clarky seemingly cut across a little bit, trying to defend maybe to the inside line, and he's absolutely taken Jamie out. He's lost a big chunk of his front wing on the right-hand side there, and that's a huge shame for Jamie, who's running so well, you know, in that top 5 fight basically. And now we move on to a shot. Big Shot Player making a dive bomb move, maybe down the inside of the Williams car. So close. This will be against Wallen, and Wallen looks like he's got the move still. He's kept that position, but then he's got his teammate, RDX team, who's still coming back, and he's done well so far to match Wallen through this first stint with him. And Big Shot Player's having huge issues with his medium tyres, so maybe that's also another reason why no one's really chosen mediums. It's not really a tyre you want to be on in any sort of way, even for the durability. As Big Shot now through the final corner looks like to be struggling quite a bit, and will an RDX team have the straight line speed? Obviously Big Shot's going to get DRS on RC Wallen, so here he goes, the right hand side, down the inside. He's going to swoop back to the racing line to overtake Wallen, but now here goes an RDX team down the inside of his teammate on hard tyres, and Wallen hasn't made that too much of a difficulty. Probably a bit of communication there between the two teammates, hopefully, maybe just to kind of have that respect. Obviously he's on a different race strategy, and now we cut back to the top fight with Alessi still, Jay Thorne in second place now. Alessi is into first, so they made a swap there clearly, and then Ali in third place still. Now we've got that pit stop. Obviously Jamie, such a shame, he had to make that front wing change, so that's going to add a few seconds on, and so now he's basically well out of the point. So that's such a shame. He was going so well. I really,
because he ain't gonna, he's not going to get them past to the end, so he's going to have to do another pit stop again, similar to Novatank, who still no sign of him just yet. But once you, in these sort of one-stop races, once you have an incident, that's going to really offset you in terms of strategy and basically lose you a lot of time. And I believe on the straight, it was Alessi who got past Jason when we saw like a lap and a half ago, where we got that helicopter shot. Obviously Alessi got past with some DRS, but Jaythorne's still keeping it in there, and now it looks like Big Shot Player has actually gotten still a pretty healthy lead to the Williams cars behind. And actually I think that's RC Wallen coming in for his first stop, so he's had enough of their medium tyres. And now, Nardi X Team, who, you know, started on the hard tyres are from back of the grid, last place, slowly making his way up through the field, and he will have the benefit later on in the race of the soft tyres, so he could be one to watch out for coming into the Grand Prix. But look at this, Wooly and Frofan scrapping out into turn 1, but just about Frofan keeps it ahead because of the soft compound tyres. I wonder if he's actually been on those since the start of the race. If he has, that's a fantastic job if he pulled that off. But meanwhile, still back on board with Wooly here. He's going to try and look for a bit of a dive up the inside. He sort of did a little bit of a feint, a wily old Fox move, but back into some slipstream and decided not to go and commit for the move. And there's still Nardi X Team now. Now look at it, the race leader actually, even though obviously not the net race leader, still the race leader, and he can just continue turning laps and just setting a good pace on those hard tyres. And we'll have to see where exactly he feeds out when he pits, but right now he's got a clear track ahead of him, which is what everybody wants, and he can just start doing time trial laps.
Yeah, he can just control his pace and, as you said, just control the tyre wear, try and do as much as he can to save the tyres, you know, as much as the game will allow you to, basically, on the hard tyres, and yeah, control the pace. Obviously, Big Shot will fall away with the medium tyres. He's going to have to pit sooner or later, and much sooner than he will, so yeah, he's got complete control there. And you've got the kind of top flight, Aresi there in 5th, Jaythorn 6th, Ali 7th, as we just got onto them, thankfully. Those guys, if they, you know, potentially catch one of these guys on very worn tyres, that may be a bit of a pickle, because there won't be a blue flag situation. It'll be for position, so I wonder if that's going to be a feature. But anyways, we go through the final corner, last chicane you saw there, Jaythorn getting right up the gearbox of Aresi. Now, will he have enough speed down this straight? DRS wide open, looks like he definitely will as he closes up, and looks like Aresi's going to move to the left and make Jaythorn go down the inside, and to be a pretty respectful move to me. So as I mentioned, these two guys obviously in the same team. They've also got that Mercedes right up their chuff in 3rd place there, effectively a net 3rd place. They don't want to really lose time going side by side with each other, so I suspect whenever they get close to one another to make a move, they're not going to put up too much of a fight into turn 1 especially. If they try and make a move somewhere else on circuit, that's to be will remain to be seen, really. But now we're on board with Walsh in the Haas car. Obviously, both Haas cars having a little bit of a interesting action-packed race so far. Definitely the second half's been quite chaotic in this race so far, and looks like we're now behind. You've got Wallen, who's gone wide, and you've got one of the Sauber cars. Can't quite tell. I think this may be iSuper Squad after that front wing off, going down the inside of him, and then you've got the 2 Ferrari cars chasing closely behind, one of the Ferrari cars, sorry, and then the Toro Rosso car of RC Alonso is now coming back through this race, obviously after losing the back end at this part of the circuit, basically. And now you've got the Ferrari car maybe trying to get some DRS. You've got DRS for the Williams car down the inside of the Sauber. A little bit of contact they made there, so a bit of argy-bargy stuff going on. Shoulders out there for Wallen, but he's got the move made on iSuper Squad. And now will a Big C, I think that is, in the green helmet Ferrari car, try and make a move on iSuper Squad down the inside? We won't know, because we're going to cut away now back to the race lead. More importantly, Aresi is now going to come back, and now Ali K just lurking around, but it looks like Aresi will go around the outside. Jaythorn this time, he is going to defend down the inside, but he is going to leave him the room, and Aresi will swoop around the outside to take the race lead once again. So they're swapping around, you know, just left, right and centre basically. And now we're on board with iSuper Squad. DRS wide open, should be a pretty simple move down the inside into turn 1. Yes, it will be, and so he's up the order once again. Yep,
absolutely. And things are looking pretty tasty right now. The mid-pack sort of scrapping it out right now. We sort of have a pack of net races, which is these 3 guys, and then we have everybody around them sort of fighting out for their own positions. But that's that all packed right down the road with RC Alonso and obviously, you know, RC Wallen and all these guys looking really, really tasty down there, and a nice big tasty scrap. And here we go on board with H Racing Green right now, and then we cut back to iSuper Squad, the battle I was on about. And here we go once again, the Williams going for the move into the hairpin. More contact this time round, but still keeping it pointing in the right direction. Oh no, maybe not, I just jinxed it. Commentator curse. There you go, they both go for a spin, and that's going to allow Big Shot player through, and iSuper Squad comes out ahead of the Williams car. And obviously last lap arrow, they got the elbows out, but this time it sort of ended in a bit more than just getting the elbows out.
They got the hammer out.
Yep, they've absolutely just hammered their chances of getting a good few points this race, at least right now on lap 15. And we're going to look at a replay as RC Wallen goes up the inside, just gets it a bit wrong in the braking, and then he actually manages to sort his car out, but then I think iSuper Squad just takes him out. So I wonder if iSuper Squad maybe lost the rear end on traction. This will confirm it for us as we go into the hairpin. So there goes RC Wallen up the inside, a little bit of argy-bargy stuff, and then iSuper Squad just loses the back end there on the curb, just gets the traction on too early, and there you go, there's the incident right now in a nutshell. So I wonder if maybe iSuper Squad might get a penalty for his actions there, but either way, we can have a replay from Alex's view. Just about, you can see that both cars going off track at the same time, almost like a door opening up in stereo for him. But right now RC Wallen concentrating once again on iSuper Squad, but these two could be in for a fierce battle as even though with the contact they're still not separated. But now we're cutting on to the main stuff, the juicy stuff, and it looks like Resi's actually starting to get a bit of a gap for his teammate Arav on these hard tyres. So I wonder if J-Thorn just struggling a little bit more in this compound compared to the soft tyre, compared to the first half of the race where they were much more competitive. You know, especially matching Ali K. Now Ali K looks like to be the man on the move now. Going through the final corner, DRS enabled. I think J-Thorn still has DRS with his teammate. Yeah, he does, just about. I wonder if he's now outside the 1 second barrier. But here we go. Ali K nevertheless still making the moves. Great straight line speed. He's going to go up the inside and pull off the move with relative ease, because obviously he had a lot of slipstream all the way down that straight, and that's going to allow him to make a simple move past the Red Bull driver, and now going on board with Clarky, who's pretty much in a league of his own right now after the contact with Jamie, who I'm still waiting to see him maybe get a replay of that incident, because personally I thought, you know, a very touch and go racing incident, maybe putting the blame on someone is a bit too complicated right now, but the Jamie incident with Clarky is still something that I personally want to see a replay of.
Yeah. Always tricky. You never know with this game. There may be some lag and desync involved, so hopefully we can get a bit of confirmation later on the race. Maybe there will be a post-race control to deal with that, and that is possible. The stewards of AOR can definitely look into it post-race and apply any penalties if need be. Not saying there needs to be, but we'll have to have a look. But now we're just right now on board with J-Thorn, as you mentioned, Tom, looking like he's struggling now a bit more compared to his teammate. Obviously, in reality, he's trying to maybe take these tyres right to the end, and they've done so much fighting already, so I don't know if we can maybe see at all. I think last time we had the same situation in Bahrain, Tom, when me and you commentated that. We just couldn't really tell what the tyres were on, because we never got a look on their heads-up display on the bottom right, and so far we can't have a look at the moment on the two Red Bull cars, but it'll be interesting to see what now those top three, effectively net top three, are on in terms of their tyres. Ali K now pops in the fast lap of the Grand Prix, nearly 123 dead, so he's definitely held back some pace potentially, Tom, kind of sitting back and watching that Red Bull fight previously, and now he's starting to turn on the hammer, maybe just turn those extra few dials and gears and get a move on, as now we're on board with Ferrari fan in the Force India, slipstreaming on H Racing Green. The McLaren's going to be a very easy move for him. It's kind of a typical of the Spanish Grand Prix, really. You kind of knock out on the top rev range here in 8th gear, so usually most of the passes down this main straight, when you do get the right run in slipstream, are very easy, and it's a similar one for Alex on Big Shot Player that was in the Ferrari car. And now down the inside, who is this? It's the McLaren coming back at Ferrari fan, actually. So in the first sector, he's come back at him, and will he make a move? H Racing Green round the outside, very odd place to try and make a move, but he'll do the switchback, which is a bit more conventional, and a bit of contact was made there between Ferrari fans, and Ferrari fans really put up a fight at the moment through the chicane. Looks like he's got it all under control, but now up the hill, you'll have that second DRS detection point and activation point. So now will H Racing Green have that bite to maybe come back at him and re-overtake and get his 9th place back? Down the inside, will he have a look? Oh, locking up, and just doesn't make some contact, unlike Wallen and iSuperCub, as we saw before. It's always never good to see people make contact in that place. Very, very easy and tempting to make a dive bomb move there, but thankfully no contact made between those two guys. Now we move on to lap 19 here, and it looks like now, Tom, I think Ali K is now closing up to Aresi, so things may get even more interesting now in this top 2, top 3 fight.
Yep, absolutely. I think J3 now really struggling to maintain the pace of these two guys. Obviously, we know Aresi's got the mettle to really try and race these guys, because obviously we saw in like Australia, for example, Aresi could match, for example, the likes of Nervo Tank. So we know Aresi's got a bit of pace in the locker as H Racing Green makes the move and re-overtakes Ferrari fan for P9. So these two guys still constantly scrapping it out, but I don't know about you, I'm still just keeping a keen eye on NardyX team and see what he's doing. Also, Wooly in second place, but my eye right now is on NardyX team. Wooly is in the hard tyre also, but we have to see how things to go with those two guys. But here we go, RC Scrub trying to maybe line up a move on RC Wallen once again. So these two guys are just absolutely connected. Like, you can't even just, you probably put a blanket over the pair
technically
of them,
they swap now.
You could put a blanket over them because they're just that close always. They just won't separate each other. So these two guys will be scrapping to the bitter end of this Grand Prix, obviously for bragging rights after that contact earlier on in the Grand Prix, as we've got one Williams down outside of the top 10. The other one's leading the way in the form of an RDX team. But as we go into this back straight, I think our Super Scrub's just a bit too far behind for any sort of move into the hairpin, but obviously he's going to be gunning to try and make a move sometime soon on this guy. And here we go, as I spoke about 90X team, this is the moment. He's coming into the pit lane, and it's a bit earlier than what I expected. I wonder if he's going to go to a medium tyre instead of a soft, and yes he does.
Yes, he does.
Different strategy from 90X team. They obviously didn't feel like he could get a bit more out of that hard tyre, so there's something to factor in for those guys who are currently on the hard tyre. And here we go, a replay of the crash at the start of Nervo Tank, and look at that. J-Thorn doesn't really move. It seems like it could have been
yeah, that was,
I don't know about you, Alf.
A little bit of desync, yeah. In my opinion, like J-Thorn, if there was actual contact for him, he would have felt move his rear end, because at the speeds they're going down to turn 1, there definitely would have been a bit of actual feeling of the contact there. So it kind of appears to me like J. Thorn maybe didn't even feel anything on his steering wheel. I'm guessing, I think he drives with the wheel, so wouldn't have felt anything on his actual steering wheel with the forced lead back. So that kind of alludes to a bit of desync there. So that will, if that's the case, that is going to be even more annoying for Nervotank then, who, as you mentioned kind of a few laps earlier, Tom, we've not seen at all now in this race. He's basically out of this race effectively for even the wooden spoon effectively at this point. Yeah, really quite upsetting actually to see just a bit of desync potentially ruining that chance for Nervotank. But obviously it's giving us a great fight now with Aresi, Ali and Thorn up there in the top 3. And now we're on board with Nardi X Team, Tom. The man who made his pit stop now onto the medium tyres now goes to work effectively and overtakes Walsh in the Haas car there, up into 6th place now. And so he's in a very good position, Tom, because 13 laps seems fair enough to take the medium tyres 13 laps, I would say. And he's already in 6th place. So I think he's really put that strategy to an absolute T there, I think, this afternoon from last place on the grid. And meanwhile, you've got Alex making the move on one of the Ferrari cars that was, down the inside of turn 1 as well, getting a move on, obviously, after that early spin and just generally a little bit slower in the first stint after that first lap he had, where unfortunately he went across the grass. But yeah, Nardi X Team, you said it, Tom, that, you know, very interested in what he's going to do. I think he's in a very good position to maybe break at least the top 5, I'd say, which is somewhere he wasn't anywhere near really at the start of the first stint.
No, well, obviously he had a great result last time out in China, so that form had to come from somewhere. Obviously in qualifying he had a few struggles, but he's definitely putting the shine on a very good Sunday afternoon for himself, and I believe this is also his home race, so he's definitely really putting on a shine over a good weekend. Yes. So obviously for the Spanish fans, you know, making up for the fact that Nervotank got crashed out, he's obviously putting on a show for those guys who paid their hard-earned money to watch this Grand Prix. But as you can see, focusing now on the task in hand, obviously the battle up the front end and the main battle of today, with Aresi still keeping it ahead of Ali K, but you wonder for how much longer as Ali K pulls out the slipstream. He's going to try and go on the outside of turn 1 and pulls it off beautifully, and he takes the lead of the race once again as Nardi X Team out fastest lap of the race, and he's not too far behind. I just wonder if these guys start scrapping, could he even be in for a podium shot? I mean, J. Thorn sort of dropping down the order a bit, so anything could happen here in Catalonia. Also, I want to point out, I have a few more clouds forming this race. I don't know if there's a chance of rain or not, but clouds are definitely forming here. It's getting a bit darker in Catalonia.
Definitely so. Definitely so. As Aresi's trying to look around the outside twice now in 2 corners in a row. Has a look around the outside. Doesn't quite work. I wonder if he's trying to maybe suss out a bit of a switchback maybe in the traction zone as he climbs up now the hill off the chicane. And Nardi X Team's time was a 22.4, whereas the fastest time for Aresi so far on this stint, so far on this race, has been a 22.9. So 5/10 faster pretty much, near enough. So that is interesting to see. We don't know what the gap is quite. If we can see it on board from Nardi X Team a little bit later, we can maybe get the gap a little bit and kind of maybe do some mental maths to see potentially if he is a bit of a threat to these guys if they're going that slow at the end of the race on hard tyres. Because of course if they are taking these to the end, these hards are really going to be very, very second hand at the very end, especially if these guys are fighting left and right. So that's going to be one to look at. But again, through that entire lap, Aresi unable to do anything until now, potentially, as he's going to get in the slipstream on the right-hand side. DRS wide open now. Will he get the speed? Yes, he will. And will this be basically a copycat move of the one Ali K did to him around the outside? Let's see. No, doesn't look like it. Looks like Ali K's actually got the speed to defend. And now, here we are on board with Nardi X Team. He's going to overtake the Manukar there of Shelley, and now he's got Clarkey up ahead. And I'm looking on the mini-map there, there's not too much of a gap there. I think that's doable. And now we cut back to the fight between the Red Bull car and the Mercedes of Aresi and Ali K. And Aresi, is he down the inside? No, not quite. Once again, Ali K doing some great defending here, and he's used to that last race, Tom, in China. Him and Nardi X Team going hammer and tong the entire Chinese Grand Prix, really, and both of them having to do a fair bit of defending. So Ali K definitely is used to that from the last round, so he's putting that to good use. And meanwhile, we look a bit further behind, just at the bottom end, the top 10 Ferrari fan, and this will be the McLaren car of this is
H Racing Green.
H Racing Green. The name tag's a little bit wrong there on the left hand side, but yeah, H Racing Green at the tail end of the top 10. But now we cut back to Nardi X Team chasing down. He was very close actually to Clarkey, I think that was. And then J. Thorn, you can see the gap is ever growing to J. Thorn. So I think at this point, J. Thorn's maybe settling down to just try and make sure he gets on the podium and keeps the podium. But now, will Aresi have a good enough run this time round to make a move? Looks like it's the same gap, Tom, so I don't think he will. Looks like Ali K may have a bit more in the tank in terms of fuel potentially to help him down this main straight.
Yep, it's not looking like any major gains. However, now I say that, he does have a bit of a run, and he's actually going to go for it, but he's not going to make it, surely. No, he doesn't. He just gets the braking all wrong. I thought he came in a bit too hot there. He tried a bit too hard on the brakes to try and slow one up the inside, but they're there for it at 46%, and we've still got 9 laps to go, so that could be a bit of concern for Aresi towards the end of this Grand Prix, because that's definitely not the sort of tyre life we expected. Obviously, you know, when you get to about 70% of tyres do tend to go for a bit of few issues, and you could risk a puncture. But right now, the tyres definitely holding up not as good as the prediction was. And here we go, looking at Nervo Tank, who we haven't seen a lot of. And the question is, I wonder how far he is off points, because obviously we've got Jamie, as you see, just up the road, then RBOS, RC Wallen, and then I Super Scrub, who are still battling out those two, and then Big Shot Player and Alex. So these guys are nowhere near the points, and then Wooly is the man in 10th place. So Nervo Tank's got a long, long way for any sort of points today. So I think it could be rare for him today. I thought he might have got a few points, but yeah. He's going to really struggle to get points. And now we're looking at 8th Racing Green, who's once again under attack by Ferrari Fan. These two guys constantly scrapping it out. Now on board with Wooly on the hard time, just doing his thing in P10. Pretty good pace, matching his personal best pretty much in the middle sector there. So good pace from him on these orange compound tyres. And now he's just lost the back end out of nowhere under no pressure. He's got a severe end plate damage, and that's going to basically warrant a pit stop. So Wooly, from a position where he's going to get a point or two, is now way down the order, and he's going to have to do an extra pit stop as well with 9 laps to go, and that could potentially write him out of any points for this race.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, with only 8 laps to go, I think that's pretty much impossible at this point. So, yeah, I'm really unlucky. I mean, it's a very tricky traction zone. You can sometimes have a bit too much momentum and confidence going to the left-hander and just lose the back end. So, that's exactly what's happened, as now we're back on with the lead. Ali K still in first place, Aresi second, Jay Thornton in third. The gap's pretty much looking like the same, so I think these guys are kind of neutralising each other in terms of the pace, but Aresi saying that up the hill will obviously have DRS, so he'll close up a little bit more to Ali K, and then once again through Sector 3, if he can just be as tight as he can to all those apexes, could potentially line up another move. Obviously, as you were commentating that, Tom, down the inside he just got it way too hot last previous lap. This time round, he may have hopefully learnt from it, and he can maybe try something a little bit better into turn 1. We'll have to see, and just a little bit. I think the gap is closing a little bit.
Yeah, I was going to say, Jay Thornton, he's definitely catching. Obviously, he did make like a brief mention that he could be maybe sitting back, maybe trying to save his tyres a bit. And I did say Aresi's left rear seemed quite severely worn.
And he has got DRS.
So Jay Thorne just personal best lap of the race as well. So Jay Thorne maybe just coming back into this race a little bit. Obviously, it's interesting to see because Aresi and Ali K aren't even battling. They're just basically following each other around the track. So I wonder if now Ali K might be struggling a little bit with his tyres out, because he seems to be backing his teammate into. He seems to be backing Aresi into his teammate. So we could see a renewal of the 3-car scrap once again here at Catalonia.
Yeah, quite interestingly, it looks like it's almost like these guys are kind of doing what real-life drivers do, you know, with the real tyre compounds, kind of waiting a little bit, waiting for their tyres to maybe cool down a little bit, and then going again. Even though I don't really think the game's that sophisticated to have that level of detail on the tyre heating, but it's almost like that. You have Jay Thorne just sitting back and maybe just gaining confidence with the circuit again, maybe after he just lost a bit of pace to Ali K at the very beginning of this hard tyre stint. And now you can see all three of them very much, as you've just mentioned, looking like it was the start of the Grand Prix again, just very, very close to one another. And this time it's now Ali K ahead instead of one of the Red Bull cars. And yeah, maybe struggling a little bit, maybe trying to just force Aresi to fight with his teammate, as obviously those two can't afford to kind of have such a hard scrap. So maybe a little bit of tactical prowess there from Ali K. I think that was something that was kind of there from season 12. I think Ali was always known for being a bit of a tactician. So we'll see how it moves on as we go on towards what will be now lap 27 now, with 6 laps left in this Grand Prix. And you can see on the overhead shot, really good shot to see the actual straight line speed. And Jay Thorne closing up on Aresi more than Aresi is closing up on Ali K. Although to say that in the braking zone, Aresi very, very aggressive on the braking and closing up quite a bit to Ali K. So maybe Jay Thorne running a little bit less wing, but then Aresi right now at the moment a bit more confident on the brakes, and very, very close now to Ali K. These three are just ever bunching up. So this is going to be a very tense last 6 laps, and Ali K definitely isn't a stranger to that. He had that the entire Chinese Grand Prix basically last time out.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously, like I mentioned before, the skies are still a little bit dark, so you just never know what could happen. But right now this is going to be the scrap of the day right now. And the question is, how much harder can these three guys battle? Because we've already seen an incredible race in the first half of this Grand Prix. And it looks like things are about to get really tense. So Resi actually quite close to Ali K, but I think he's going to stay in Simstrom. And now J-Thorn is going to pop one off out of nowhere. Just a cheeky little move up the inside, testing his teammate out. A little bit of contact, a little bit of wheel banging. And actually, look at that, beautiful. Resi goes around the outside and just keeps his teammate at bay. That's going to buy Ali K some precious couple of tenths, which is going to maybe just help him down the pit straight to stay ahead of these two Red Bulls, who now maybe turn their focus towards each other instead of Ali K right now. So here we go through the final corner. We're now going to begin lap number 20, and look at the gap now Ali K's got out of, and I think he's going to be safe at least into turn 1 for now. And seems like Jason's lost a bit of time for that final corner because he's now quite far behind his teammates. So we've got the first taste of the scrap here. Resi had a little bit of a look up the inside, a little bit of a dummy, just to let him know that he's still there. And now the question is, when are we going to see the big move or the big lunge come, especially towards the end of a straight? That's where I'm expecting to happen. So we're basically going to go, these next 5 laps going to wait for the big lunge to happen and see who's the first one to really commit to a major move and make something happen in this top 3 scrap.
Yeah, and in the background for J-Thorn in third, I was just looking as you're talking through turns 1 and 2. I just saw in the background Clarky and Nardi X team not too far behind, you know, with you know, especially Nardi X team, maybe with the pace he'll have on mediums compared to these guys worn hards. The gap honestly didn't look that big that, you know, potentially if these three are having a scrap, if J-Thorn sends it down the inside of his teammate, if Aresti sends it down the inside of Ali K, potentially those two, Clarky and Nardi X team, could get into the fight. And here we go, as I mentioned, literally Aresti making that dive. Tom, you said we're waiting for it. There you go. Aresti tried once on that 28, hasn't quite worked out, but now Ali K's feeling the pressure a little bit because he had to obviously give Aresti a little bit of room there, and so compromised his general running through sector 3. So as they go through the last chicane here at Spain, will Aresti just have enough drive off this corner, climbing up the gears to get enough speed? Open the DRS obviously once the line gets there, and J-Thorn similar enough as well. So here we go, he's going to close up. I think he'll have enough speed here. We're on board with J-Thorn to watch it. Aresti swings to the left and he's going to get the momentum. Will J-Thorn go around the outside as well? He'll try a double move for the 2 Red Bull cars around the outside. So close, brilliant racing there.
Oh!
Jay keeps it in. Oh no! No, what a shame for J-Thorn. Contact there. It's just the natural racing line of Ali K swings him into the front of J-Thorn, and J-Thorn can't do anything. He's a sitting duck there, and he's been punted into the wall. Thankfully for him, no front wing loss, so he's still in 9th. So, you know, I know it's not going to be much for him, but he could still get a point, 2 points there. But, oh, what a shame. So, podium lost. And now, it's looking like Clarky and Nervatang and Nardi X are going to fight for the podium. But here's a replay, Tom. And now Ali K swings.
This will confirm it for us. So let's just see. Oh, I don't know. That's very close. You wonder if maybe Ali K could have stayed a bit tighter on the apex, maybe. But
yeah,
the stewards will probably look into that for us. Yep. But either way, Aresi is now the man that he's got to fight for the Red Bull Pride in the Reynolds Grand Prix. I'm gutted that we've missed that because we just got the lunge and sort of the battle begin, and it just ended before it even started. So we've got a 2-car scrapper now. Nardi X team making the move on Clarky also, and also Ali K looking for a move on Aresi. It doesn't work. However, Nardi X team up into a podium position in the Spanish Grand Prix from P20 on the grid. Fantastic stuff so far.
20
unreal
to third. I think that's got whatever happens with Ali and Aresti, I think that's drive of the day, really. The RDX team, he pulled out of the bag of China, finally showed up to the season in China, and now you were thinking, okay, what's gone on with him qualifying P20? But no, he's come back right through for a podium. That is definitely going to be the drive of the day, whatever happens. But here we go now. We've got H Racing Green. This will be down the inside of the Haas car of Walsh, and then just up ahead of them, Volta got Ferrari found the Force India. But H Racing Green still not made the move done. Walsh defends very well and successfully, it looks like, on H Racing Green. And so these three now are concertinaing together. And so will H Racing Green make a pop down the inside? No, it won't. But look at those tyres, 68% on the left rear, and the left front 67. So that's going to get to 70% pretty damn quickly. And so with 3 laps left. Oh, Walsh lost it straight to the wall. What an odd thing. He's just lost the back end. I think he snatched the curb there. Maybe the way of gravel. No, he just lost the back end on the exit.
Luckily,
off the hill.
He's kept it going.
Such a shame.
He's kept it going the right way, and no front wing loss.
Yeah.
So he's only lost 1 position from that.
Damage.
So he probably would have I think he would have lost a few kilos in that incident, but you probably sweat a bit. But now, back onto the action. Ali K up the inside of Arezi, this time making the move work. We've got 2.5 laps to go, or 3 laps to go pretty much, and these two are going to go to war in the remainder of the Spanish Grand Prix as Ali K retakes the lead, but Arezi is literally pushing him through turn 3 as we go into turn 4 now. Arezi, is he going to try and go for a sniff around the outside? Not quite. Ali K just matching him on the brakes there and taking the normal racing line. However, Arezi gets a good exit through here. Will he slide up the inside? Not either. So it looks like now filtering into this middle sector, I think Arezi is going to buy his time, wait for the moment and strike like an absolute cobra. So we'll have to see how this shapes up as we now go up the hill, through the chicane, up to turn 9. And the question is, how much of a run can Arezi get through this corner when once he opens the DRS into the hairpin? Will he get any sort of run on the Mercedes driver? And it looks like he's quite a bit behind. And in the distance, Arv, Nardi-X team, if these two have a scrap, you never know what could happen. But the gap does seem a bit big for the amount of laps we have left. But either way, you never know. Nardi-X can see these two guys battling, so he's just got to try and believe and keep it going in his home race.
Motivation,
absolutely. And now we've got to see these two, what happens once again as we go through the final flip-flop chicane, through the final corner. Let's see what happens. Arezi is very close this time behind Ali K. I think Ali K is going to be pretty much just praying the fact that Arezi doesn't get past him, because right now they're way too close. Side by side, down the pit straight one more time on lap 32, and Arezi pulls to the outside and takes the normal racing line and retakes the lead of the race once again here at Catalunya. Ali K, what can he do as we go through turn 3, literally following Arezi in millimetre by millimetre in terms of the racing line that both of these drivers take, as we now go midway through lap 32 through the first sector, finishing it now into the start of the second sector. And you have to wonder, is he just going to wait until the next pit straight on lap 33 to make the pop?
I think he is in the perfect position here, Ali K, because what's going to happen here, I think, Tom, we're going to do a bit of crystal ball work here. I think, actually, as Arezi loses the back end a little bit, what I was going to say is, I think Ali K is just going to bide his time, because he can get the DRS, overtake as he goes onto the last lap of the Grand Prix, and of course the finish line is well ahead before the point of the time you're catching a car to make the overtake on the main straight. So I think Ali K, maybe, I don't know, will he have a pop here? No, he won't. I think that's what's going to happen.
He's got a lot of fuel in reserve, so you have to wonder, is he just going to crank up the Mercedes power unit on that last lap and just let it run free at max power?
Just bolt.
Yeah, so we're going to have to wait and see, but this could be the moment that he's been preparing for. He's got a nice bit of fuel in reserve, so it definitely looks like he's been ready for this and prepared for this mentally. The question is, how much fuel will Arezi have? Does he have enough to run it in Rich? But right now, Arezi's had a pretty good exit actually out the final corner, and Ali K is a substantial bit behind, and I just wonder if Ali K has let this one go by getting a poor exit. Here we go, DRS wide open. He's in Rich Mix, Arif, like I said, confirmed, and here he goes. Look at the speed of the Mercedes car. Goes around the outside, Arezi matches him on the brakes. There's contact, he just about keep it on the track. A little bit of sidepod action there, but Ali K pulls it into the lead, and no more contact, ever so close. I thought Arezi was going for a spin there, but Ali K holds it in first place, and there's the fuel that Arezi has compared to Ali K, confirmed. So Ali K is going to have Rich Mix for days in this final lap of the Grand Prix. Nardi-X team just in the distance, I think a little bit too far behind for this battle, but he's had a fantastic effort here today. And here we go then, Arif. Run us through this final part of the lap.
Yep, so Ali K going to that chicane for one last time at the Spanish Grand Prix, leading the way from Arezi, then Nardi-X team in third place. Up the hill, will Arezi have anything? I don't think so, because Ali K has that Rich Mix in abundance. He's got the DRS open, Arezi. Will he try a pop? No, he won't, and I think that may be a little bit of a lock-up, though. Oh my God, lock-up from Ali K, and Arezi again made contact similarly like he did in turn 3 of the same lap here. But no, I think that surely has to be, unless Ali K bottles this in the last few corners. He's only got 3 corners to go, through the third last one, second last one, through the last bit of the chicane, then the last corner, and I think he will safely have this as he runs to the line. This will be the win for the Spanish Grand Prix. It's Ali K, it's a brilliant win for him. Arezi comes home in second place, and it's a fantastic, exceptional third place for Nardi-X team, who was on last in the grid, and Clarkey just about manages to hang on to 4th place across the line on Shelley, and then H Racing Green. Oh God, calamities for him. Round. He's in 9th. J Thorne promoted to 8th with that, and it looks like his tyres, well, they're not popped, but I guess he maybe lost the back end.
He's hit the
having
cliff.
some serious issues.
Definitely hit the cliff. I mean, look at that left rear.
And he comes across.
Yeah, so disappointing. I mean, he got points,
and then
yep,
there is your championship leader, the man who got knocked out on lap 1, coming home for 14th place. A very, very lonely Grand Prix for him today, Tom. Big shot player there in 12th place, I think, just parking up after the end of the Grand Prix. And then I'm Loki cutting the chicane, probably just out of tyres. Jamie completely just losing all will to live there. Spinning, doing a few little donuts actually, impromptu. And then I'm Loki comes across, and all these guys really feeling the bite of the tyres right at the end there. And Wooly comes on eventually, I think, out of the points. But here, we're going to look at the replay now. This is H Racing Green. Oh, he got the curbing.
Too much curb.
The tyres.
Too much curb. And I think he didn't have the tyres to turn the other way and save it. The car just went, and there was no way of coming back from that. So still, we managed to get a couple of points. That's going to promote also the very unlucky Jaythorn to a P8, so he's going to get an extra couple of points. But what could have been out of so many guys in this race, you know, Nervo, Tank, Jaythorn, Jamie, all these guys, what could they have done today if they just had a good result and maybe less issues in the race? And then moving swiftly on to the race results, and Ali K picks up his first win of the season with a Resi, putting in a very good performance for P2, half second behind with NardiX Team, the racer of the day from P20 on the grid Arif. Fantastic performance from him, with Clarky also a very good job in P4. Then Ferrari also all the way up in P5, so good recovery from him, with Shelly in P6, Walsh in P7 who started in P11. Unfortunately, Jaythorn down in P8 with H Racing Green in P9, and then finally Alex rounds up the top 10 with RBOS his teammate in P11, then Big Shot Player in P12, RC Scrub in P13 with his fierce rival RC Wallen today in P14, then unfortunately the championship leader Jim Nervo Tank in P15, with also the other unfortunate driver from today, Jamie down in P16, with I Am Loki in P17, Wooly in 18th place, then also RC Alonso down in 19th place, and finally the unlucky Desin Pele in last place. But that's going to round up the final race results, and we're now going to move into the drivers and constructors standings.
Yep, so after that race, Ali K gains a lot of points and is able to overtake Aresi to make it a 1-2 in the championship right now for Mercedes Grand Prix. Nervo Tank obviously still maintaining that lead after 3 wins on the trot before this race, but Ali K moves up. You've also got NardiX Team and Clarky both moving ahead of Jamie and Alex. Alex obviously a big loser, and Jamie as well from this race today. Big C moves down. Shelly moves up 1 place, up into 9th place ahead of RBOS, who obviously had that contact on the first lap as well and generally wasn't seen too much in this race. Jaythorn stays put in 11th, with Walsh and Ferrari Fan making gains off their good race, and the unlucky ones, H Racing Green, Desin Pele moving down the order, and the usual suspects at the bottom yet to score any points. Big Shot Player, I'm Loki, RC Wallen, Super Scrub, and then the reserve RC Alonso there now added to the table in 21st place. But what will that mean for the constructors? Well, I was going to say at some point during the race, Tom, but never got a chance to do it, but Renault, from what we saw at the beginning of the race and what was all touted pre-season, they've actually been underperforming now, because they move level on points with Williams, and Williams move up as they have had the better position now with NardiX Team in 3rd place. Williams move themselves up into 3rd. So from what I thought was going to be Red Bull, Renault and Mercedes fighting, it's now Williams, Red Bull, Mercedes potentially, with NardiX Team who continues those good results, continuing to pull up Williams and basically drag them up. McLaren Honda move down 1 position, obviously, as Williams jump all the way from 5th to 3rd, so great stuff for them. Sauber move up to 6th, Manor in 7th place as well. Ferrari move down the order after unlucky race for both drivers in 8th place there. Force India move up with with Ferrari fans, good result in 9th place, and then Haas stayed down in 10th place, unfortunately, after some bad luck then for that race. But that has been the Constructors' Championship after that round. So round number 4, that was for the Spanish Grand Prix. So we'll see you guys next time for round number 5 at the Monaco Grand Prix. That's a big one. Obviously a fan favourite, a driver's favourite for qualifying. Qualifying should be absolutely fantastic around there. And then the race is going to be an absolute nail-biter. So join us next time for AOR F1 2016 Season 13 at the Monaco Grand Prix. This one's been the Spanish Grand Prix. If you have enjoyed it, hit that like button. Let us know what you thought in the comments below. If you're new around here, then do get subscribed to this channel for more race highlights, and check out the entire video team in the description and in the post credits. We'll see you guys next time. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye.